I got to ask about the Rockies because I want to know how the heck you work for the
You do
Monfort
that
for all
every
those
time I
years.
get on air. You ask me
I
about the
know
Rockies.
because they're 17-51 or whatever they. I got to look what they are, but they got like 17 wins. I mean, what
Yeah, I
Dan? What do
think
you
last
expect? I
night
mean,
they
you
tied
actually
for their worst start after that many games with I think the Washington Club in 1904. So it's been a while since the team had this bad of a start. Hey, I think when you look at the Rockies, I haven't been there in 10 years now. So although I was a former GM, it was a long time ago, former GM. So I think when you get to this position, one, you've had a lot of bad luck. The game is based on skill and luck, but the reality of it is they've made a lot of bad decisions over a long period of time to put themselves in the position they're in. I don't think it's one decision in particular. I think it's layering decisions because that's kind of what a front office's role is all about. Is you just try to make good decisions every single day, and then you layer those good decisions on other good decisions, and then you look up and you've got a good team with a well-run organization. I think they just have made AJ a ton of bad decisions over a really, really long period of times, and I don't think it's an easy fix in any way, shape, or form the position they're in.
If you did have to try and fix it, Dan, to try and put simple terms, because I know you could do hours on this, do they need to find help from other places? Do they need to do
Yeah,
things
I'm
differently
torn
than
on
everyone
that,
else?
Scotty. I
Okay.
do think, I think it's good to refresh your people. I just think it's healthy. I mean, I probably in reality should have left 10 years into my job. I think I outstayed it by 5 years. And ultimately, I think that hurt me within the game from a availability and a reputation standpoint. So I do think there's like expiration dates with jobs. So I do think it's good to get best practices outside of your organization. It's that you're just dealing with such a unique environment there with altitude that unless you've lived it and understand it, like you can conceptually think you know it, but until you working in it day in and day out and see how that particular environment affects every aspect of personnel decisions and the way the game's played out in the field. So ideally, you'd find somebody that had experience in it, then left and learned a bunch of things best practice wise somewhere else that would be available to come back and now run it. But I think even the best GMs of the game that are recognized would have a significant learning curve going in there from scratch and taking what their best practices are to an environment where some of that might be applicable, most of it would not be. Does that make sense to you?
No doubt. Yeah. It's still right. No matter what, to me, like to simplify, it's not a quick fix to go back to what you're saying. You want to get outside help? It's still going to take a long time to get adjusted to a place that's
Yeah, I
just
look
not
at
like
it now,
anywhere else.
it's like an expansion. You're taking over like an expansion situation. Hey, man, they're wonderful opportunities. They just come with, you're going to have to be very patient and you're going to have to look at victories in a different way. And you're just going to have to be really understand what you're getting yourself into. And I think it could be a great opportunity for someone if they just, and if ownership and the people involved really understood what they were buying into.
Dan, you talked about the altitude. I got a question on that. When you look for players, how does that affect the type of player that you're looking to sign, especially when it comes to pitching?
Yeah. Well, let me just jump into the position players first, quick, because I think it's a really fascinating discussion. And guys, I'm on no time frame here. I got plenty of time as long as you guys do, because this whole
Yep.
thing could take the rest of the afternoon. Um, so you're playing an environment where you say you play a 6 game homestand, you get a lot of at bats in that place because of the ballpark. So you get 5 at bats a game. You're going to see maybe 30, 40, 50 pitches a night. You're going to swing at 50% of those. And so hitting is a muscle memory sport. It's a part of your cerebellum that you wire every time you see a pitch over and over again. So you're recognizing specific patterns of ball flight. That's how you hit. Now you go on the road and you see the same pitches, you take the same swing, and the ball is now moving millimeters differently because there's no movement at home. So now there's movement on the road because movement's created when you throw uh, some kind of object against mass air. Well, there's no mass in Colorado because you're a mile above sea level. But when you go on the road, you're now hitting in mass. And so I think that's where like guys who have elite bat to ball skills, guys that can use the entire part of the field, guys that have good pitch recognition skills, and players that aren't gonna like cave. Like I'll give you an example. And Jeff Cirillo's retired, so I can hammer him a little bit, but he's really dear friend of mine. I love the guy. Jeff was an incredible hitter in his career. When I acquired him from Milwaukee, it was for that same reason. And he came to our place and he raked. But then as the season went on, when he tried to make that transition from raking in cores to hitting on the road, mentally it became a real struggle for him. And it wasn't pretty by the end of the year. So you just never know how a player's going to react to failure in a way that he can't control the failure. It's just a human dynamic of where you play. Same dynamic exists for pitching. So you need strike throwers, guys that can have power sinkers are certainly good. Guys that command vertical fastballs up are good. Guys that have really hard sliders are okay. Breaking ball's not good there. Changes are okay there. Cutters can work there. But again, you're not going to get movement at home. And then you're going to get maybe 25% more movement on the road. So a starting pitcher has to adjust his repertoire between pitching at home and pitching on the road. And it's a physical issue that quickly become a mental issue because the game is so challenging mentally.
Dan, would you rather have guys that throw sinkers or guys that can get fly balls and weak contact up in the zone?
Hey, Jay, as long as the sinkers are power sinkers, it's like Aaron Cook, who had a lot of success there. I mean, when he was right and healthy, it was 94, 95 with really late tunneling, sinker movement. That works. And then you had a kid like Jeff Francis. Not that necessarily Jeff threw hard, but he was very deceptive and he lived at the top of the strike zone. And then he worked a slider off of that same line. He had success there. So I think you want both. You just don't want guys that live in the middle of the plate in that place.
People liked this last time, so we're going to do it again. Read one of the fantastic, unique, creative recipes, dishes on HelloFresh. Creamy Alfredo truffle cavatappi pasta?
Cavatappi, maybe? But I'll just go with the Indian-inspired chicken paired with turmeric rice. That sounds awesome. Everything about this is delicious, fresh, comes in a little bag. And I like to cook, so I like to chop up the ingredients. I like to throw stuff in the pan, mix it up. It makes me feel like I'm doing something, Scott, and they always come out amazing.
Yes, you can be a star at home with America's #1 meal kit. Make your summer enjoyable and delicious by signing up for HelloFresh at HelloFresh.com/FT10FM and get 10 free meals with a free item for life. That's HelloFresh.com/FT10FM for 10 free meals and a free item in every box. 1 per box with an active subscription. Free meals are applied as a discount on the first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.